Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Sagittarius energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Sagittarius energy. Some people harness a more worldly focused Sagittarius energy, and some people harness a more shadowy Sagittarius energy. And if you harness high vibe Sagittarius energy, you'd probably like to hang around other people who do. And we all tap into some Sagittarius energy. So whether you're a Sagittarius sun sign, cross watching for one, just listen to your intuition in the story. Where are you at in the story? And listen to your intuition about other people in your life to get a feel for if you think they are more motivated and inspired by the world, or if they're more motivated and inspired by hope and faith and love and justice and fairness and living life like an adventure to be lived. Okay. Well, it's kind of interesting. The overarching reason for the reading is the Death card, which can be people, well, and underneath that is the Sagittarius card could be having good boundaries or defensiveness. Some people are unwilling to harness high vibe Sagittarius energy. They're defensive because relationships in their past didn't work out. And so because of that, they harness shadowy Sagittarius energy. It's like, it's kind of like people who gave up on their dreams. I am just going to be kind of like an immature player in the world. I'm going to go indulge myself in the things of the world to make me feel better. And that's too bad because, we go through these life experiences to learn lessons in life. And in high vibe, the Death card would be that I've learned lessons from this life experience. I've learned traits and characteristics about people that I like and that I don't like. And I've learned about some traits and characteristics within myself that I need to grow out of and grow up. And I need to have to learn to have better boundaries within myself. And I need to have good boundaries to other people who aren't loving. The Death card in shadow could be people who aren't loving. It's non-life-giving energy. And if we don't want to keep letting people who aren't loving into our future. In the Four of Cups, it talks about, I need to learn to love myself. Why am I drawn and attracted to some people like that? What pattern do I have within me, or, lessons I need to learn so that I don't keep getting in relationships with people who aren't in loving energy? I need to learn, Sagittarius and high vibe is about wrapping your brain around this game of life, higher education. And part of that is I need to learn to love myself, to reconcile myself with the past. So the past is no longer dictating my future, so that I am free to go live my life like an adventure to be lived. And sadly, some people, because relationships didn't work out, they didn't ever learn the lesson. It's like, I'm defensive, someone ignored my love, and there's what they don't realize, that by not learning the lesson they were meant to learn, they're kind of doomed to keep repeating that same pattern over and over, because life is about learning lessons. It is about growing and maturing yourself and learning to love yourself, basically to give yourself the things that you wish other people would have given you so that you can release the past, and then you'd be free to work together with other people in that pure, innocent, hopeful, believing nature. And, some people, it does take work, The Scorpio card of the Death card Scorpio talks about the deep emotional attachments we have to people. It takes time. We have to take some inspired action in our life to work through all of it, to, from the 1 wand to the 9 of wands, it talks about the 8 of wands, moving forward, distancing ourselves from people in our life who aren't healthy for us to be in a relationship with, or try to stop us from believing in our dreams, and maybe try to get us into shadowy energy like they are. And so then they play on our fear and our insecurity, because if we're in our fear and our insecurity or our lust or our greed or our more immature, indulgent nature or our pain and our heartbreak, we'll keep staying in relationship with people like that. And they don't really have our best interests at heart. You know, some people are happy when we don't have good boundaries, when we are defensive to loving ourselves and being open to working together with loving people in our life, because then we indulge them in a relationship. We keep indulging them. And we keep being like drawn and attracted to them. And we'll keep being drawn and attracted to them until we see the truth. Because the truth is what sets us free. To finally see the truth that, oh my gosh, I need to move away from these people. I need to have good boundaries. I need to love myself so I can be at peace within myself, in balance within myself emotionally, make peace with the past, that I can love people in my life and keep my distance from them. If they're not encouraging me to stand up for myself and believe in myself and get out of my fear and my insecurity and my more codependent, immature, indulgent, lustful, prideful, greedy nature, then they don't have my best interests at heart. You know, because if someone really had your best interests at heart, they'd want you to be at peace within yourself. They'd want you to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams, and they'd want you to heal from the past and grow to your full potential. So I think this story is probably going to be about the different type of people we have in our life. Who are the people that aren't indulging us in our poor behavior, don't encourage us to be fearful and insecure and immature and indulgent and prideful and egotistical and defensive and petty and envious and jealous and blame everyone else for our problems? And who tries to encourage us to love ourselves and believe in ourselves and to heal? And while they're doing that, they have good boundaries to us if we're in that shadowy energy, you know? And you might be one of the people who has people in shadowy energy trying to make you let go of your good boundaries because they want to indulge in a relationship with you. But they really don't have your best intentions at heart. And there's other people that have transformed their life. That's what high vibe Scorpio is about. I have learned lessons in life. I'm done being an immature player. I have learned to have good boundaries to my own shadowy nature, not to indulge in my own poor behavior, and to have good boundaries to other people in my life who encourage me to basically indulge my poor behaviors. And I've learned to love myself, and I want to have a deep, meaningful relationship with you. So let's go see what the story has to say. I'll turn down the camera here a little bit for you. So we start out with a card not showing itself. And the reason that card came out is because of the Eight of Swords and the Page of Wands. The Hermit. There's some people that are in a mental prison about letting their inner child out to play in the world. They're more hopeful, believing, vulnerable, loving, creative, inspired nature out in the world. And instead, they live more from their mind than their heart. And they might have a fear of love, because you can get hurt doing love, right? And some people are like, oh, no, I'm really afraid of letting my more authentic, vulnerable nature out in the world, you know? And then they reject Virgo energy. Virgo energy is about going within to gain insight and wisdom about, why am I fearful of love? Why am I afraid of letting my more authentic nature out in the world to play? Why do I keep it hidden away? And if we're not letting our more hopeful, believing, loving nature out to play in the world, well, then guess which one we're letting out to play in the world? Our more fearful, insecure, indulgent, I want to feel better now nature. We all have this dualistic nature. We can all harness these energies in a high vibe way or a more shadowy way, because we have the knowledge of good and evil within us. We have the seeds of potential of either within us to grow. And some people, I feel safe being in a mental prison. I'd rather live from my head. I'd rather try to maybe manipulate people to get what I want. I don't want to have to face my fears. I don't want to look at the things I keep hidden in the dark. I might be emotionally shallow. I might be immature. I might be defensive. I might be defensive to love. I want to keep repeating these old patterns and ways of being in the world because in order to live life differently, I'd have to have good boundaries to myself and my more fearful nature, or letting my ego run my life so I can stay safe and secure and just let my ego run my life. And I'd have to let go of all those things that maybe either make me feel safe, or I like being immature in the world, and I just go to try to find other people in the world who are fearful and afraid and insecure, and I go get in relationships with them. And then I just indulge myself in a relationship with them. And if they want me to grow and mature myself, it's like, oh, no, 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 no. No, no. No, if you want me to grow and mature and discipline myself or grow and mature myself, nope, I'm ending this relationship. I do not want to go within to gain insight and wisdom about the things I keep hidden in the dark. And I don't want anyone else to gain insight and wisdom about the things I keep hidden in the dark. Which might just be that they have a lot of fear and insecurity that they never deal with. And because they never deal with it, they never, move forward in life differently. They keep repeating these same patterns of behavior over and over because they never get down to the truth of what the problem was that makes them act this way to begin with. They don't maybe want to see it. There's a lot of people in the world who are like that. Nope, it's over, it's done, I'm not going to deal with it. And they think they can just ignore it. It'll all magically go away. But those things they don't deal with, it ends up influencing the decisions they make in the future jobs and friendships and relationships they have. They don't want to think that those things still impact them, but they do. If, our shadow nature is represented by the devil. Things that limit us, oppress us, confine us, restrain us, oppress us. How differently would you act in your life if you were free from the things that restrict you and imprison you? You'd be free in high vibe Sagittarius to live your life like an adventure to be lived. But I don't know, some people just aren't willing to do the work. Virgo energies, earth sign energy. It means you'd have to put in work and effort to go within, spending time alone with your own thoughts and your own fears and your own feelings to kind of learn to love yourself. The Virgo hermit holds the lantern as I kind of look at it as I don't know if the word is euphemism, but, it's kind of like shedding light and love and compassion on it. We've all got fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs. Is there such shame in admitting that? Some people might think it is, because if they're in their shadow nature, that can be in your pride and ego. No, I don't have things to deal with. No, if I just keep it hidden, nobody will know. The only thing is, people's shadowy behavior and ways of being and thinking eventually get exposed. You can hide the truth from some of the people some of the time, but you can't hide the truth from all the people all the time. And the truth endures. Eventually what's hidden comes to light. So we go within to gain insight and wisdom about our fears and our insecurities, about loving ourselves and believing that we think other people could love us. And it starts with us loving us. I'm going to offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness for the mistakes I've made in life. I've had a lot of lessons learned. We've all been young. We've all been immature and reckless and prideful and self-centered and thought we knew best, and we made a lot of mistakes. Our, pride comes before the fall. Are we willing to humble ourselves and say, I've made a lot of mistakes? Some people aren't willing to even admit they ever made mistakes. They're perfect. Some people could have grown up in a family thinking they had to be perfect. You get so consumed with the world. I've got to be perfect. Oh my God, I can't admit I'm a fallible human being like the rest of those wretched people in the world. I got to hide it. But if any of you dealt with someone like this, or some of you might be dealing with someone like this, and we can all get in relationships with people because we have some of the same fears or insecurities or past wounding. The difference is some people are motivated and inspired to change. They want to be free of those things. I don't want to carry around the same fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs I've dragged around for the last 5 years. those people do put in work, but the Virgo work is kind of behind the scenes. It's things you do in solitude and quiet time. It's not like going out in the world and walking down the street and telling everybody, I'm working on my fears and my insecurities. You do that work within yourself. And I don't know, I think there might be some people that are just really afraid of even going in there to see what they've been hiding and not wanting to look at. But other people do that work, and they get to be where they are, back to that more hopeful, believing nature. I work through some of my fears and insecurities. I shed light on them. Kind of makes me think of a Dr. Phil episode a long time ago where it was like, and he was telling the people, well, complete the thought. Like, well, but if I did this, then, that wouldn't work. It's like, well, why? What would happen? And it's like, really work through all the steps of what could be the worst thing that could happen. We can be so afraid of putting ourselves out there in the world, of like being rejected in a way. And I think the way I've kind of come to it is like, if I'm going out in the world, being open and loving and just and fair and treating people with respect, I'm putting out my best foot forward. Not everybody's going to be receptive to that because of their own issues, and it's not to take it personally. I think if everybody could be open to be free and give and receive love, and people weren't in their ego or, focusing on whatever negative things, they'd appreciate loving people in the world who are respectful and kind and encouraging and aren't being petty and envious and snarky and all that. But all we can do is I feel like I'm aligned with truth and love, so I'm going to go out in truth and love and justice and fairness and treat people the way I'd like to be treated. And I know not everybody's going to be open to that, and that's okay. They've got their own issues to deal with. I'm not going to take it personally. And then we don't have to worry about the other people in the world judging us. It's like between me and the God. It's like I feel proud of myself that if I have a good attitude and a positive outlook on life, people can make their own free will choice to live their life the way they want to live it. I choose happiness. Well, then we have the Ace of Wands coming out. Some of the people are like, no, you're taking bold, brave, creative action in your life. See ya. I'm not doing that. Are we willing to step out of our comfort zone and do life differently and face some of our fears and insecurities to move forward in life differently? Some people, like I said, the truth sets you free. Some people can't move to kind of that next level of life because they haven't dealt with the things that imprison them. And when you kind of get in relationships or romantic relationships with people, and you have kind of healed from some of your past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs to move forward differently, that's when the other people are like, I don't even want to be in a relationship with you anymore. I plan to stay here and stay in denial of the truth. I don't want to see the truth. And I might like to be in relationships with people who are more fearful or insecure or codependent, because then I can just indulge myself in a relationship with them and they're not requiring me to grow and mature or face any of my fears or insecurities. So bye. And that's when you move forward in life. And probably what they can't figure out is how you even did this, because, again, like I said, the Virgo work is stuff that you do kind of within yourself internally, working through these fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs that you have. And they don't know that that's why you're able to move forward like that. That might not even be something that they're even aware of yet. Oh, because being kind of, maybe they're quite codependent, because our shadow nature can be about being codependent. And then with this being a child card, it could be, I'm looking for other people who either will like mother me and nurture me like a parent would, where I don't have to grow and mature myself. And it's always looking to other people or things outside of them to be the answer, instead of realizing that the answer lies within them. oh, I was supposed to put in work and effort to work through my fears and insecurities. I just thought I got in a relationship to feel better. And I thought it would make all those things go away. Being in a loving, encouraging, supportive environment or relationship can help with some of those things. But to really free ourselves from some core issues, we got to do the work ourselves. So some people are having new beginnings, and you can be moving forward in a relationship, and this is just some other people that aren't really moving forward in your life with you. And the reason why you're able to move forward differently, for one, is you've quit aligning with these type of energies within yourself in a shadowy way. And when you're no longer aligned with those ways of being within yourself, you've kind of lost your drive and motivation to hang out with other people that harness those energies in a shadowy way. And the reason you were able to do that is because you were motivated to not be in those shadowy energies. So we have the King of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles, which is living more from your mind than your heart, letting your mind control you, your fear, your insecurities, your self-protective nature, and maybe also the world. Isn't it all about the world? Isn't it, I'm so afraid of the world judging me on what I wear, or what I drive, or what I look like, or if they think I have any talent or skill or whatever, anything to offer the world. And when you quit being inspired to live more from your mind than your heart and your intuition to guide you, you did this work again. The Ten of Pentacles is Virgo energy, to go within to get clear about your truth. Do I want to keep living my life in a mental prison, kind of being fearful like a child in the world? Or do I want to speak my truth? And, the King of Swords is Libra energy, represented by the scales of justice. Do I want to feel at peace within myself, balanced within myself? Do I want to feel abundant and stable and grounded within myself? Or do I want to keep letting my mind control me and keep me in fear and insecurity? And when you decided to be more aligned with truth and justice, that there's more to the world than my mind, I can be the master of my mind and my thoughts and my emotions. I am not a prisoner to my mind and my thoughts and my emotions. I can learn to sift through all those to get through to where did those ideas come from? Who put all those thoughts in my head? Did the world? Did other people? Uncle Bob, Aunt Sally, my parents? What's my truth? What do I find to be stable and grounded and abundant in the world? And what some people find to be motivating and inspiring and makes them feel, nurtured and abundant can be different than what other people think. And that's fine. Like some of you might find it very relaxing to maybe, fix a motor on a car. Well, I can tell you that would not work for me. That's not my thing. So we all got to go find our own thing that I find, kind of almost meditative and relaxing. If that's going for walks, if it's doing whatever it is you like to do, that helps you calm your mind and get clear about your own self and reconnect you in with yourself, so you're not so caught up in the world and what everybody else thinks and all the extra things that go on in the world that help you feel grounded and stable within yourself. And that could be what some other people don't do, They don't ever work through all those thoughts that they have, and they never figure out who put all those thoughts in their head. Was it a scary movie they read once? Was it the books they read? Was it the people in their life? Some people just don't want to speak their truth. Some people don't want to put in work and effort. It takes work and effort to get out of your fears and insecurities. And so that's what they don't know about you. And they don't know how you did it. And if you knew people in your life that were more about living more from their mind than their heart. I don't want to do love. I get hurt doing love. I've been hurt before. People rejected me. Relationships didn't work out. I'm not going to try to figure it out. I'm willing to give up my dreams of love. Well, if you know some people that in their King of Swords, Ten of Pentacles energy, they've decided to make their life all about the world, indulging in the world, making their life about money and materialism or status or image, to indulge their more immature nature instead of dealing with their fears and insecurities. You could have decided to cut them out of your life. The Ten of Pentacles can mean workplaces too. If you had worked at a job where someone was like, oh, you should come work here. We're all just and fair and stable and grounded and nurturing and supportive. You'll love this. And then you get there and you realize that they're kind of immature and maybe bossy and controlling and stubborn and fixed and unwilling to budge and just kind of immature. And it's kind of like, oh, what? Once we get you in the job, well, then you kind of might see what we were hiding, that we really have a lot of fear and insecurity about working together with people cooperatively. We like to think that we're just and fair, but really, we kind of like to be bossy and controlling. And if I say something's just and fair, it's just and fair, even if it's not. And I don't ever do any work within myself to find out why I kind of act this way and kind of immature. And eventually you see the truth and you're like, yeah, I don't want to work there anymore. Well, we do the same thing in relationships, right? So some of you could have left a job, some of you could have left a relationship, or you're planning to, because you've gotten clear about your truth. This is the Page of Swords, you have that hopeful, believing nature, and you still believe in your dreams. And you're not willing to give up your dreams to take action towards people who've already shown you that they're immature, they think they're the boss, that they make their life all about the world, and if you were going to be in a relationship or stay in that job, you have to stay there because of the money or the image or the status or the whatever, and stay in a mental prison dealing with immature people. And you're like, no. I'm not giving up my dreams, and I am going to emotionally detach from this. And, the Death card talks about emotionally detaching from something so you can move forward and transform your life. And maybe this whole purpose, and I kind of think the whole purpose why we do get in relationships with all these different people is to get clear about what our truth is versus what their truth is and other people's truth is in the world. Is their dream the same as our dream? Some people can have their dream that this is the ideal workplace or relationship. If they're the ones who are being the immature, bossy, uninsightful people, yeah, they probably, so long as they're the ones who seem like they're in charge, yeah, they love that. This is perfect. I get to be bossy and controlling and immature. Perfect. Oh, and all you are in a mental prison and you're fearful of believing in yourself and believing in your dreams, and you're willing to stay in this job or relationship and keep indulging me in my shadowy way of being? Yeah, they think it's great. If they can find someone who's willing to give up on their dreams. And the whole point was for you to get clear about your truth and what your dream type of work environment is or romantic relationship is. And it's like, it's not that. So you detach from it. And you learned to have better boundaries within yourself. That I'm going to learn to love and believe in myself and offer myself that cup of love to heal from this situation, to get balanced within myself, because the sixes can talk about balance. We have our worldly nature and we have our more loving, hopeful, believing nature. And in order to move forward in life, again, kind of like represented by the scales of justice, we have to be balanced within ourselves. And you want to work together with other people who are emotionally balanced, who are also motivated and inspired to have good boundaries within themselves, not indulging in their shadowy behavior and thinking that's just and fair. With people who move forward in the energy of love, to work cooperatively together, to be inspired to work cooperatively together. And some people aren't motivated by that, They don't want to be just and fair in a relationship. Some people want to be bossy and controlling. Some people feel like being more just and fair, some people want to control things that makes them feel safe and secure in a relationship. Now, as some of you could have gained some insight and wisdom about things that you've went through and had a new beginning, you could have communicated, because the page is about communicating. You could have communicated, because I think high vibe people try to encourage other people to love and believe in themselves and believe in their dreams and free themselves from their own fears and insecurities. You could have been communicating with different people in your life that, I've learned a lot of life lessons from my own life experience. I no longer am living more from my mind than my heart and my ego and worldly view of life, It's about looking at life from a higher perspective. There's a higher purpose to being on this planet than just getting caught up in the world. We all put in work and effort to have stability and security, and we'd all like to enjoy the finer things of life. But again, it's about having balance. I want the things of the world that I want, but I want to do it in a way that I'm proud of myself, that I act with character and integrity, that I treat other people the way I like to be treated. And there's some people in the world that are like, no, that's not my idea. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and it's all about me. So what are shadowy people doing? Well, it's kind of like what I told you. They don't want to go within. They want to hide from the world that they might have. I mean, why do they act like that? Why aren't they giving and receiving love? Why aren't they being more open and bold and brave and confident in the world? Because they hide from the world. So the main card that came out was Virgo not showing itself. They, in high vibe Virgo would be like being a spiritual sage in the world, helping other people gain insight and wisdom. And they don't want to harness their high vibe Virgo energy. Why? Because they're fearful of being more authentic in the world and vulnerable in the world and really maybe living the life they'd like to live. They have a lot of fear and insecurity about that. Let's ask why. Why do some people have so much fear and insecurity about... Okay, well, here we had this card flipping, this card there, and I can see, these ones kind of flipped in reverse. And it's because of the Four of Swords. Why? Because in order to move forward in life differently, they'd have to see the truth, because the truth is what sets us free. And they'd have to meditate on the truth. And it's about healing from past pain and heartbreak of when they decided, instead of having hope and faith and belief in their dreams anymore, instead they decided to live from their more emotionally defensive, egoic nature. And they'd have to offer love to themselves to heal. And there also might be people in their life, because again, when we're kind of in our shadowy nature, just like, when we were more immature and impulsive, odds are we hung out with some more immature, impulsive people. We might have known some people who are more mature than us and going about their life differently, but we didn't hang out with them. We have people in our life that are kind of on the same page as we are at any given moment of time, and we can love those people. And some of those people, we're still trying to get them to heal because we want them to move forward with us. And they'd have to walk away from some of those people maybe to stand up for themselves and what they believe in. And again, shadowy energy can be kind of where we're codependent on other people for our sense of stability and security and making us feel more better emotionally in a way, you know? Because if they did walk away, the Eight of Cups is walking to the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is being more emotionally independent. Learning how to love yourself so you can walk away from your emotional confusion and maybe other people in your life who are happy that you're emotionally confused. To love yourself enough to walk away from it, to be more emotionally independent. I know how to love myself now. I'm not codependent on you for my sense of emotional well-being. I have learned how to fill my own cup so I can be more independent in the world. And if they were to do that, they'd have to let go of the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Chariot, which might be an aspect within themselves that they were aligned with before. And then that could be represented by other people in their life. They previously could have been more aligned with their shadowy Leo, shadowy Aries, shadowy Cancer energy, which is I'm more emotionally aligned with my ego nature. In my King of Wands, Aries nature, it's kind of more about all me, my wants, my needs, my lust, my greed, my pride, my ego, me, 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 me. And maybe being more motivated and inspired by the world and thinking if you take action, making your life about the world or indulging in the world or more your own wants and needs, that's what they viewed as where they could have victory and success in their life. And they'd have to let go of viewing the world that way. And, if you view the world that way and you're really motivated and inspired, either to make life all about yourself, and that if you get in a relationship, it's supposed to be all about you, and everybody else is supposed to put an end to their dreams in order to indulge you in a relationship and make you the center of attention in a relationship. If that's how they viewed relationships and they've been able to find people who kind of do that, well, that'd be kind of hard to give up. If they're more motivated and inspired by, the world, and it's all about ego and image and competing in the world, it's really hard to give that up too. Why? These things aren't just things that people just popped out of the air one day and said, I'm going to live my life like that. It kind of gets kind of imprinted upon us and patterned within us, maybe based on who we grew up with for some, and then some innately could be born, more just motivated by the things of the world, more so than being inspired to be, it just reminds me of that Bible verse. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And, we all grow up in the world. We all get conditioned in the world of thinking this is the point of life. It's about me and me being happy and me having the things that I want, and, not really seeing life from a higher perspective and thinking there's more to life than just the things of the world. And again, our shadowy nature is kind of represented by the devil, which we have a lot of lessons to learn about our worldly nature. And we obviously read in the paper of people who are horrifically beastly in the world, where they treat other people like animals, and like they're their property, and they beat and abuse people, and kill people. Our worldly nature can be quite ugly, but, we're the only animals of the world that have the free will choice to elevate ourselves out of our more beastly, animalistic, dog-eat-dog nature. We can elevate our life to believe that, we can manifest more in the world, and that we don't have to live our life like that, and that we're creators, and, the divine is working with us. We have the free will to manifest whatever we want in the world. What is our truth? You want to manifest that? Okay, you can. Or you can listen to your intuition, which was given to you as a gift to navigate your life and love and all those things. And if you maintain your balance, you can manifest probably more abundance than you could have ever imagined, because the divine has much more power than just the world. And they'd have to give those things up. They might have to detach from a Leo, detach from an Aries, detach from a Cancer, or at least people in their life who present themselves as a temptation. You should be in a relationship with me and we'll have victory and success and we'll have all the things that the world says we should desire. You just won't have maybe love. You might love me, but if I'm in shadowy energy, I'm not going to love you back, because we can love the things of the world and we can get codependent on the things of the world, looking to the things of the world to make us feel better. And we get caught up in addiction and we end up in hell because the devil lies. Come indulge in all these things. It'll be great. You don't have to do work and effort. You don't have to heal. Look at these things. They're great. You'll feel better. And then you give those things in the world too much power in your life and you find yourself in hell, and sometimes people don't get out again, right? And I think there's people in the world that were moving forward with people like that. And again, the King and Queen of Wands can be people we're attracted to and that we have love for, with Ace of Cups. But if we realize once we start to move forward in the relationship that initially we thought was going to be great, but then we find out that we thought it was going to move forward in an emotional, people being motivated and inspired by love, and we realize the other person seems to be more motivated and inspired to be in the relationship and stay in the relationship because of the money and the image and the status and the indulgence. And then you realize that it really wasn't love. And then you realize that as you're kind of growing and maturing yourself and healing, that the other person isn't doing any of that work. And while you're ready to speak your truth and stand up for what you believe in and pursue the things that you believe in, for them that could be really scary because you're stepping outside, not conforming to the world. And that's way outside their comfort zone. And they don't want to speak their truth. Even if they could find you someone very stable and nurturing and loving that they feel like they could have their dreams come into reality, they're not willing to become more independent of the world or other people in their life that they're attached to, and not willing to speak their truth maybe to those foundations in their life to stand up for what they really believe in. So they're manipulated by things within them, and then they might be manipulated by other people in their life, and they're not willing to stand up and defend the loving people in their life that they would maybe like to move forward with. But it would require them to stand up for themselves, and they're not willing to do that. And part of it, and they're maybe not even at that point, because they could just be, they have a lot of lessons to learn in life. And, everybody's got to learn their own lessons, just like, some of these people could be adult children. Some of them could be siblings, parents, whoever, and they just still have a lot of life lessons to learn. And we, got to learn life the hard way sometimes. And you wish them peace, but I'm going to keep moving forward, living my life the way I do. And if you are someone who maybe wasn't a romantic interest, but children and stuff like that, you might, at any time you're welcome to a degree, but I'm going to have good boundaries. And if you're going to be like immature and or bossy or controlling and unloving, no, I'm going to have good boundaries to you. And if you're kind of like an immature player, no. And the whole thing is, if it's a romantic interest, it's different, because if they really harness those kind of shadowy characteristics I talked about, you're kind of at a place in your life when you were on the opportunity, on the same page of life, to work through it together, and they didn't. They showed that they might be a couple books behind on learning some lessons in life. And while they've been off learning lessons that they needed to learn, you've continued to move forward. So you're still like several books ahead, maybe, or chapters or libraries, but with other people that are people from our family, children and siblings and stuff, we might extend a little more grace, but we might not be willing to get back in a romantic relationship with someone who wasn't willing to choose love and defend this relationship and put an end to their more Maybe for some of them, just kind of lustful, greedy nature. Instead of taking action in truth and love and maybe defending a foundation, a marriage, a family, they decided they wanted to put an end to that dream because they're more inspired to indulge themselves. And if there was someone else that seemed to be in a mental prison who wouldn't require them to speak their truth and grow and mature themselves, well, then I'll go get in a relationship with that person and start all over again. So, tell us what's coming up for the people who harness high vibe Sagittarius energy. What's coming up for them that they may not see coming? Another way I'd view this as you're moving forward in life, there's going to be other people in the world that have had to leave jobs and relationships like this before, and they've been waiting for other people to come across their path that have also left relationships and friendships with people like that. You know, it's like, oh, have you transformed your life? Are you looking at life as an adventure to be lived and have hope and faith and belief in love and working together cooperatively in a just and fair manner? Thank goodness I've been waiting for someone to come along the way, you know? And you might have people that you might even have some of the shadowy people that pop back up in your life, because if they see that you're moving forward, if they thought they could use the love that you have for them against you, that you'd keep being sad and defensive of working with other people while they went and played. And then they thought, if you start to have a new beginning, then I'll pop back up. Because, well, I don't want you to go work with other people because I know how loving and nurturing and stuff you are. I wanted to go play. But now that you're going to go work with someone where you could have your dreams come into reality, with someone who's like yourself and will treat you the way you treat people, well, no, now I want to come up. I want to come back in and I want to stop you from doing that. I want you to come back, and I'm hoping you haven't seen the truth, and I hope you haven't done this work within yourself to see the truth of who I really am, and that you still are passionate towards me or lustful towards me or love me, and that you'll come back and you'll still be in a mental prison, and I'll wave to the people who thought they were going to get in a relationship. Ha! She's still, or he is still in a mental prison about me. And I think some of you are be like, no, I have a dream. I've emotionally detached. When you were off playing, I did do all this work within myself to see the truth. People who are just and fair and loving and value, loving, stable, insightful people would have stood up and defended me, but you didn't. So apparently you're either a very egotistical, hurtful, unkind person that was hoping that I love you and you could use the love I have for you against me. Well, you went and played, which is very unloving, unjust, unfair. And I've seen the truth of it. And I don't view you as a loving person anymore. And I've moved on. And I'm going to defend my future. And, you know, when in life, it's all about making these choices. When we had our own lessons to learn, there was other people we could have gotten in relationships with and friendships with that we didn't because we had lessons to learn. So we were kind of drawn and attracted to other people. You might think there's someone that you missed an opportunity with, possibly in your past, that you could have communicated with, that you would like to reunite, and maybe told them about these lessons you've learned. For some of you, those people have been waiting for you to grow up and mature yourself, or, you know, because I would think this would be someone where neither one of you were hurtful or unkind. You weren't immature, and you were truthful, you were honest, you worked together with them well in a relationship. It's just that for some reason, maybe you had some old patterns that you kind of hadn't seen the truth of. But I would say you view each other as people who are loving people, not you viewing each other as shadowy people. And those people might have been waiting for you to see life from a higher perspective. And those people might be guarded to you because previously, if you were someone who had to go learn some lessons, they want to make sure you still don't have lessons to learn. And they're going to make sure that you have emotionally detached in the past. And if you have, then they are willing to defend moving forward with you in a relationship, because they do see you as someone who works together with people in that pure, innocent nature. And they like to work with people like that too, in that way. And they have no interest in trying to manipulate you or control you or being immature or indulgent. And, listen to your superpower, your intuition about different people who might communicate with you from your past, different people who might be in your life now, different people you might meet as you move forward. Who are the people who have that hopeful, believing nature, who has good boundaries within themselves, and who are the people who are still kind of immature, self-centered, defensive, and a player? And pick your poison. So, what do you not see coming? Well, for one, you're going to, it's all a process. Again, it's hard to detangle ourselves emotionally from people because we are emotionally complex human beings. But, with the Scorpio death card, it does talk about emotionally detaching. And I think in the Nine of Pentacles, it means that, which is also Virgo energy, and you have gotten clear about the truth of your foundation and your dreams, you have done that work within you to know your worth and value. And you've reconciled yourself with the past. And you're able to cut those shadowy people out of your life. People who maybe move forward more in pride and ego and fear and insecurity of love. It's like, well, you keep moving forward in your pride and your ego and your fear and your insecurity about love, because I've reconciled myself with that. And what you also might not see coming is other people who are single and abundant might want to work together with you. And when they first communicate with you and talk to you, they might not show you right away that they harness these energies in a high vibe way. High vibe Aquarius, high vibe Gemini, that they do want to move forward with you because they've given a lot of thought in their own life about what is loving and what isn't loving, and is the world more important to me, and money and status and image, or is it love? And they think you're someone they want to move forward with, and you're not going to deal with people anymore who keep taking action more out of pride and ego and fear and insecurity. Okay, what about the people who harness some more worldly focused? I think those people, they don't want to be in relationships with people who gain insight about them, that they are kind of immature and fearful and insecure, and they don't like to be in a relationship with other people who do that work within them. They're kind of more inspired by the world and making their life about looking like a shining star in the world. They don't want to be just and fair. They don't want to be someone who speaks the truth in love. And they try to hide from people that they live more from their mind and that they're more materialistically driven. And they defend the worldly view of life and looking like a shining star. And they could be more emotionally shallow and superficial and defensive to deep, meaningful relationships because they're kind of more immature and a player. So what do they not see coming up in their life? These two cards, because of the Queen of Wands. Okay. Well, I think they might have someone, either someone again who kind of loves and believes in themselves, harnessing high vibe Leo energy, and the same whole pattern is going to repeat. And they're going to be defensive. They're going to be immature. The other person's going to want to bring a dream into reality. And they're like, no, I don't trust love. I don't believe in love. I don't want to face my fears to be in a deep, meaningful relationship. And that same relationship's going to end. Some of those people could be experiencing an ending in their life right now. Maybe with some other people who are seeing the truth and getting out of a relationship with people who are like that. Or the other option is, because we live in a dualistic world, they could have someone who comes into their life who harnesses shadowy Leo energy. I'm kind of about ego and image and money and materialism and fear or insecurity and pride and ego and emotionally manipulating people to get what I want too. Let's date. But the person who could be coming towards them isn't showing them that they also reject harnessing these energies in a high vibe way, just like they do. And they harness these energies in a shadowy way. That they align with their more, the Ten of Cups is Pisces energy, and Pisces energy can be high vibe or low vibe. There's people in the world that are happy to live from their ego. Some people, Leo energy can be like, I want to seem like I'm the center of attention. I want to look victorious and successful in the world. I'll get in a relationship with you to indulge in my illusion that this is love. And I'm going to try to create the illusion that it's love, but it might be that they really don't align with their high vibe Cancer Pisces energy. They harness a more shadowy Pisces Cancer energy, which is, I like to present myself as loving in the world, and I like the idea of love, but I have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. And my idea of a long-term happy family relationship is for me to use my emotions manipulatively to get what I want. And I might be kind of bossy and controlling, and I might like to be the center of attention, and I like the image and the status and the money. And if you like those things too, I'm willing to be in a relationship with you and stay in a relationship with you for those reasons. It's just that you might not feel like you're in a very loving relationship. It's more like you're in a relationship creating an illusion that it's love. But if you're more emotionally shallow and superficial and want to look like a shining star, I'll get in a relationship with you and we'll both look like we're shining stars, and neither one of us will align with our loving, just, fair, balanced, truthful, acting with character and integrity side. We'll live a life of illusion, pretending we're that, and behind the scenes we'll be kind of in a mental prison because we don't love and believe in ourselves. And we'll have fear and insecurity about if the dream will come into reality. And we'll be so afraid that our partner might end the relationship that we'll be intimidating and controlling and maybe act like a private detective in a relationship, because that's what shadowy Scorpio can do. So there you go, Sagittarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.